Greetings, salutations. This is Chris Erskine, affectionately known as Pastor E, and today's episode deals with hope for the holidays. We've been running a series here at our church every year during the holiday season of providing what we believe is grief support supreme. I want to thank God for our grief support minister, Ifra, who leads us phenomenally. For a full term, I sat, not as pastor, but parishioner, as she taught and facilitated our sessions each and every Monday. We're preparing to launch our new schedule in January. I would absolutely love for you to be a part of it. But watch this. You don't have to wait until January to the new season. You can catch our Hope for the Holidays session, special session that we know people need grief support during the holidays. October 3rd, 2019 changed my life and my family's life forever. My brother, Sadell Erskine, was tragically murdered here in the city of Birmingham, Fairfield. My life has never been the same since that day. As a pastor, as a preacher, as a disciple of Christ, as a believer in Jesus Christ, as a person who has a phenomenal wife and children, support system and family, church family, network of preachers and pastors across this country, I had to go into counseling. I had to sit with a therapist. I had to deal with me before God would let me deal with others. In the midst of his tragic death, I was teaching and preaching a series entitled Toxic Relationships. I believe it was God's way of forewarning me about what was about to happen and to prepare me mentally through all of that 8 weeks of research, 4 weeks prior to his death, and 4 weeks after I continued that series. God will let you know sometimes you're stronger than you really think you are. And the only way to test that is to place you in situations that you would never volunteer to get in yourself. So this session is going to be tantamount. I'm going to give you an action plan that I personally work myself. I'm going to give you some truths, not textbook, not from a workbook, but from my own life. I want to share with you as much transparency as I can. What helped me and what I know will help you. You don't have to sit in grief. You don't have to stay in grief. There's a number right on the screen, 205-460-1310. Here at the Movement, we have our own grief support ministry, our own grief support team. You can be a part of that. There is no particular leader, as Ifra would often say. I'm just a facilitator. I'm the one who God blessed to go through a grief cycle, write a book some 20 years later to bless the lives of those who are going through what God saw me through at that moment. There's a phenomenal book by Megan Devine entitled It's Okay Not to Be Okay. It became my second Bible during those early stages of grief. For somebody, this is your first of first. The first Christmas, the first Thanksgiving, the first holidays, the first birthdays, the first death date. And grief is not just the death of a person. It could be the death of a relationship, an employment, a divorce. It could be bad news consistently that cause your whole emotional makeup to shift. I want you to check out this intro. I'll be back in a few seconds so we can dive deeper into this subject on grief. It's okay not to be okay. When you check this out, tune right back in. We'll be ready to go deeper at that moment.
This is a movement, gotta get with it. Ain't too late, just ask for forgiveness. Turn from your sin, get lined up right. Accept my Savior, Jesus Christ. A movement, the way I live. Ain't no faking, all real. Let no one disqualify you. At the end of the day, God will judge you. This is a movement, gotta get with it. Ain't too late, just ask for forgiveness. Turn from your sin, get lined up right. Accept my Savior, Jesus Christ. A movement, the way I live. Ain't no faking, all real. Let no one disqualify you. At the end of the day, God will judge you. This is a movement. F-R-E, S to the H, that's me, fresh.
Thank you for tuning back in with us. This is Hope for the Holidays. I pray that this segment will bless you not only today, but in the days to come. I want to give you some powerful tips and tools that you can employ and use and institute right now in your life. I want you to call a friend. I want you to text someone. Whether you're on live with us, CW21, ABC 3340, or perhaps you're on our YouTube channel, TMFC Live, All Things Movement. I appreciate you more than you know. Hit that notification, hit that subscribe button. Let us know that you're a part of our movement family, whether that is local or global. I want to shout out Cecilia Phillips, all the way in Trinidad, Tobago, who's always moving with the movement. I want to know who's moving with the movement right there in the chat. Right there online on YouTube. I want you to start blowing up whatever city you are connected to, where you are watching us from, where you met us in the movement, how we're connected, how we're related. I want you to drop that in that chat so that individuals will also be able to have relationship with you as it has relationship with us. The movement is located 1140 Pratt Highway in the beautiful city of Birmingham, Alabama. I would love for you to join us either at our 8 a.m. worship service on Sunday or our 10 a.m. worship service. Somebody said, what's the difference, Pastor E? There's got to be a difference to those services. Well, amazingly, our praise team, phenomenal Just praise team, leads us at 8 a.m. But if you like the full choir effect, 10 a.m. is your worship style with voices of praise. The message is tailored the same, but I do not deliver it with the same energy. Is one distinct message delivered in two distinct different ways that allows the congregation to continue to grow. So if you're part of the 8 o'clock church, you'll tune in at 10. And if you're part of the 10 o'clock church, you tune in at 8 while you're getting dressed so that you can get the full totality of the message. 8 or 10, whatever fits your schedule, we would absolutely love to have you worship with us any Sunday here at the movement. Wednesday night are family nights. Going into this season, I want to celebrate December 19th is family night. We're going to have dramas. We're going to have speeches. We're going to have all types of different things going on and dinner as well for the entire family as you come in. Doors open at 6. The actual service starts at 7. A movement Christmas, a night festive with joy celebrating our Christ from the cradle to the cross. You don't want to miss it. It'll bless you in a very special way. Now, as we're preparing for Hope for the Holidays, we've come through Thanksgiving, and we've talked about on the telecast, what are we so thankful for? What are we most thankful for? Now that we are approaching Christmas, suicide rates are alarming during this season. We want to combat that. We want to give individuals opportunities where they can ask for hope and help, where they can reach out and someone will touch them concerning their situation. Also, knowing that you don't have to deal with this alone, there are support groups like the one here at the movement that meet consistently where you can find rescue and refuge all at the same time. I'm so grateful to God that over a year ago, a young lady in our church, Ifra, who produced a phenomenal book that stems a true story from her own background in her 20s of a miscarriage. In the midst of that, She started to experience grief like no one could ever imagine. And from those pages, produced a grief support team ministry and circle here at the movement. I went through the first class, not as a pastor. I went through it as a parishioner. I went through it because I needed peer support. I needed one-on-ones. I needed counseling. October 3rd, 2019 changed my life because grief set in, and it set in because I was only grieving the loss of a brother. But it was only until I sat down with a therapist who helped me to cognitively look at my situation, recognize through mental assessments that I was only grieving one side of my scenario. I was dealing with what is called dual psychosis. I was battling not only the death of a brother, but he's 13 years my junior, which means that I helped raise them as a son, like a father figure. I never tapped into that side of my grief. And that was the side that was taking me down. I didn't have a real struggle as it relates to seeing him in a casket. It was hurtful, but I did it. It was not so painful to walk into 6th Avenue Baptist Church filled and packed to capacity of people that I knew, people that I didn't know, people who knew my brother that I never knew him, and delivering the eulogy at his service. But what was most tremendous and hard was tapping into the grief side that I was a father figure to him, and I had never, ever acknowledged it. When I started to really see the grief side of that, I was able to make headway. I was able to deal with it. I was able to pick up a book that I want to recommend to each and every one of you right now, and it is by a young sister by the name of Megan Devine. Megan Devine, Devine, has a book entitled It's Okay Not to Be Okay. Here's one of the quotes. She says, "The reality of grief is far different from what others see from the outside. There is pain in this world that you can't be cheered out of. You don't need solutions. You don't need to move on from your grief. You need someone to see your grief, acknowledge it. You need someone to hold your hands while you stand there in the blinking horror, staring at the hole that was your life. Sometimes some things cannot be fixed. And that is why, if they can't be fixed, they must be carried, and it's okay not to be okay." End quote. So get this book and other books. We're going to offer Ifra's book to you as well, that you need to pack your library. You need to start arming yourselves with intellectual properties that will bless you as you take this journey. So, Pastor E, what was your plan? What can you share with me? I'm listening to you right now, and we just got a death notification. I'm listening to you, and my loved one passed a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago. It never, ever leaves you. Grief comes in spurts. I will never forget watching and attending the funeral of Aretha Franklin. It was one Tyler Perry who stood up and profoundly stated that I pray for the family that your grief comes in waves rather than crushing upon you all at one time. Really didn't understand the totality and the weight of his particular message until my brother passed, and I had a close loved one to be taken away. I understood then that I needed grief to come in cycles and in waves and in days and in weeks and in months. I didn't need it to come crashing down on me all at one time, because I knew how hard it was during the experience itself. But there would be times that grief would lift itself, and I could raise my head, and I could catch my breath, and I could wipe my tears, and I could know things were going to get better. I could go into prisons across this state and across this nation and speak to those who were incarcerated, those who had murdered people, those who had committed crimes, those who were serving their time. I could go into facilities and then advocate on behalf of those who were incarcerated, who did the very same thing that the culprit did to my brother some 6 years ago. How do you do that, Pastor E? It is because that grief comes in waves. It lifts, it falls, it lifts. But the true test of testimony for me is that you will never ever get what you don't give. You got to be willing to stand in a space and offer people sometimes what you very much need yourself. So I want to give you an action plan. Number one, I want to give you permission to grieve. Permission to grieve. Wait a minute, Pastor, you said what? I want to give you in my action plan, number one, the permission to grieve. It's okay not to be okay. Recognize your pain rather than focusing on happiness. Too many people are not giving themselves permission to grieve, so you feel like I can get over this, or one day it's going to end, and one day it won't hurt like it used to hurt. Can I tell you, you cannot love, cherish, and adore someone, something in your life, it be removed, and you remain the same. Give yourself permission to grieve means that if it's not the death of a loved one, it could be the death of a relationship, it could be a divorce, it could be a death of employment. Whatever comes to sever and to create a space between what was normal and what is no longer normal. The area of your life that you have to create a new normal. You have to move differently now because it or them are no longer physically available to you. Give yourself permission to grieve. It's all right for you to cry. I know people who tell people all the time, you ought to be over this by now. You still crying about that loved one. You still crying about that job. You still crying about that divorce. And they can say that with ease because it wasn't their loved one. It wasn't their marriage. It wasn't their employment. It wasn't their wealth. It wasn't their situation. It wasn't their opportunity that was lost. And they can easily share with you what you should do because they've never had to do it themselves. Give yourself permission to grieve, even if that means alone. Get by yourself and cry and moan and sob and stretch out and lay down and get some rest or go to sleep or whatever that looks like. But permission to grieve sometimes looks the opposite of you sharing a happy moment with someone else. I want to give you not only the permission to grieve, but I want to give you the opportunity to be selfish. Take some time for you. Step away so that you can see the totality of this situation, the panoramic view of it. What has happened in your life so traumatic that you can't look at things the same anymore? So permission to grieve is number one. Number two, communicate. Communicate. Tell friends, family, loved ones, support systems, whatever you need to do. Understand that things are now different. And because they are different, I do not have to put on a face. I don't have to act like things are all right when they are not. Find you a support group. Again, the phone number is on the screen, 205-460-1310. Hit us, give us a call, contact us. Go to our website, tmfclive.com. Whatever you need to do, there is help available. And you would say, Pastor, I don't know you and I don't know your church. I just happened to be on here this morning. Well, I believe in divine connections. I believe all things happen for purpose. Nothing happens haphazardly or out of purpose or out of happenstance. I believe you are tuned in at this moment, at this time, for the specific reason that there's an area of your life with grief you have not properly addressed yet. You could have been listening to anything or anybody at this time, but divine purpose has you right here at this moment hearing these words. Give yourself permission to grieve, communicate, start talking, start venting. Call someone who has the gift of listening. I talked about that last week. The gift of listening. Someone who does not banter. Someone who does not have to be objective. Someone who does not have to interject. Someone who doesn't always have the right answers, but they got a great ear. They can let you pour out and pour out and pour out without interjecting, without pulling the microphone proverbially from you to themselves, because they like to hear themselves speak. You need someone who is tall enough, big enough, strong enough to let you just talk, vent, and go back down memory lane without charging them tolls of going over bridges that love has already taken care of. So communicate. Watch this, even if it means you got to talk to yourself. Now, wait a minute, Pastor E. Most times I've heard people who talk to themselves are crazy. They are loony. Something's wrong with them. They got mental issues. Can I tell you that is very the opposite? It is not you talking to yourself that deems you mental ill. It's when you start answering yourself. It is when you start hearing voices in your head that you feel you have to have a conversation with. Talk to grief. Ifra told us in one of our sessions, talk to grief like it's a person. Tell grief, I'm not staying here today. You're not going to pull me down today. I'm not going to cry today. I'm not going to worry today. I'm not going to waste away today. Tell grief, I'm getting out of this bed today. Tell grief, I'm changing clothes today. I'm changing attitudes today. I'm changing disposition today. You know why? Because I can. It's my choice. Start talking to you. There is, outside of God, no greater effective voice to you than you. You can talk yourself into some things and talk yourself out of some things all at the same time. The power of your voice in your ear can change circumstances and situations like never before. So give yourself permission to grieve, communicate. Here is the next one. Simplify. Simplify. Don't take on too much. Stop saying yes to everything and everybody because you're trying to fill voids and pack them where there is no substance. Saying yes to somebody while you're breaking down, saying yes to someone while your health is not well, saying yes to someone who could obviously do the thing you're asking them to do, but they just want you to do it. At some point, you're going to have to practice saying no. You're going to have to simplify. You're going to have to find yourself saying, I'm not attending that event. I'm not pushing myself to go there. If there is a trigger that your trauma is alerting and people want you to continue to suffer through your triggers and your traumas so that they can have you present, let them know I opt out. I'm not coming. I'm not going to be involved. I know you really want me there, but you want a shell of me when I'm trying to get the whole of me. And at this moment, I would rather say no to you and yes to myself. No to your presence, yes to my future, because I got to live after this. Traditions and feelings of being overwhelmed, you must simplify. And everyone who supports you in that has a seat at your table of healing. Anyone who is so brass, who does not understand, who overwhelms you while you're being overwhelmed. Someone who said, I just can't understand why you stopping all of this and can't do this. It's because you've never been through what I'm going through. Well, my mama died, my father died, my child died, my situation, I got fired, I got divorced, but it wasn't you. You are not me. You are not who I am. You haven't experienced everything I've experienced. So stop interjecting yourself in my situation when my shoes don't fit your feet. This is my process that I got to go through my way, and I ask that you will respect me. Can I close out today by telling you permission to grieve, communicate, simplify. Here's the last one, create space. Build in extra time for rest, as grief will try to bring you all the way down. Create space. Create space. I had to do that myself because I would find myself driving through the city trying to make appointments. And when I would find myself on the west side of Birmingham, near Elmwood Cemetery, near Davenport and Harris, I would have triggers. And I would feel guilty that I got to go in the cemetery and go by his grave because I don't want him to think that I can pass by and he think that I don't have him on my mind. But can I tell you, I got to a point where I had to realize he is not out there. His spirit is no longer out there. His remains are out there, but he is not out there. And I don't have to feel guilty about going to a place that he no longer resides. I went as long as I needed to go. And then one day I had a revelation that I'm going to a place where he used to be. I'm going to celebrate where he is at this very moment. Create some space. Give yourself some time. Don't put yourself on a timer that in 6 months I need to be here, in 5 months I need to be there, in 8 months I need to be this well, and in a year I don't want to have this as heavy as it. You are setting up false realities in your life. Please let me tell you, I know you are trying your very best to be that superhero, that Avenger, but this is not a cartoon. This is not a comic book. This is not a movie. This is reality. This loss is something you are going to have to wrap yourself around and realize greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So I pray today that this action plan that has helped me and helped so many will help you on today. Maybe not in the order that I gave them. You may have to jumble the order to make it oppressive for you. But whatever you need to do, make sure you realize that you are the greatest gift you can give to yourself. Take some time and grieve greatly. Grieve. Good grief is what the book calls it. Good grief. You can grieve bad or you can grieve good. I want you to have good grief. I want you to be able to share this with someone else. Tag somebody, call somebody. Say, hey, listen, you need to check out this telecast. You need to go and look at this video. It helped me, and I know it'll help you. May God bless you. That's my time. I'm thankful for yours. Peace.
Faith, standing on the words you spoke. In you I put my hope. Even when the time get hard, I'ma still stay strong, cause I know you won't leave me wrong. Psalm 23, the reason why I stay on my feet. The devil no longer has me. Let it be known I'm a child of the Most High. G-O-D, ain't no need to be shy. Why? Hebrews 13:6. The Lord is mine, help a working man do to me. The battle's not mine, but the Lord Jesus Christ when he died.